It seems like over the past decade, anti-porn movements have cropped up, and they've kind of been initially led by the church, particularly the Latter-day Saints church. At least in the beginning, it was church organizations that would put up websites that looked scientifically legitimate.
The church especially was clearly anti-masturbation when they started. That's also true of one of the large anti-porn organizations now. NoFap started as an anti-masturbation organization. But it seemed basically like they couldn't get traction that way. It's just kind of an old-fashioned idea. No one really believes that stuff anymore. As well, they shouldn't. And so they found by putting this in the verbiage of pornography, they could get people on the left and the right who felt there were problems with pornography and kind of unite these groups. So my sense is it's fairly strategic. And that's kind of what Dr. Burke writes about, is this transition to talking about pornography as a health issue. So the Morality and Media organization had a website that was pornharms.com or .org, I'm not sure. And it doesn't identify that it's their website on it. And it lists all these scientific studies. It looks very real and very convincing. And it's completely seems to be part of this church organization, but you wouldn't know it if you don't know the history. So, you could say, well, it's still supposed to be science, right? But if they're cherry picking, they would often summarize the results of a study, that found harms and benefits and leave off the benefits, just very low level kinds of tactics like that. And we found more recently, there was a journal that is put out by a member of the board of Morality and Media that was bizarre. They just had some very strange content. And we did a content analysis of it and have it under a second review right now. So hopefully it'll be out soon. But what we analyzed was whether or not this was a predatory journal. That is something they had kind of faked to look sciencey, to be able to use these kind of languages around health and public health, and exactly the erectile dysfunction claims appear in there many, many times. And these aren't supported by general science. But if you look at that journal, it looks like they are. And it looks like a real journal. But you wouldn't know unless somebody does the analysis and says, like, hey, this is not a real journal and this is what's really going on. But those analyses have to be done, and all the problems and threats that come with that. So it's a challenging area to work in.